Well, hello and welcome to something new here on this channel. We are going to be talking about, well, hopefully a tradition that I think might stick in the real life NFL football off season. Of course, there's not a whole lot to talk about in terms of what's going on out there on the football field, but I hope to make this a tradition, and maybe just maybe this might stick as a original series on this channel. I've taken a lot of inspiration from guys across the YouTube platform, mostly Mr. Hurricane. I've really looked up to what he can do in terms of Madden gameplay, and I wanted to go back in time to something that felt unique. And there's a lot of features in older Madden games that, well, just don't exist anymore. And I'm not going to dwell on that for too long because it's been said a lot on the internet. If you want to go and draw your own opinions about Madden, go right ahead. But we are here playing, in my opinion, one of the last great Madden football games that exist, and this is Madden 12, and I want to present to you something new. We're going to be calling this the ZFL, and I know it's really original here on Zach Talks, but the reality is that I wanted something fresh and something new, and today we're going to be revealing half of a totally new league that we can draw some interest in together. One of the cool things about Madden back in the day was that you could make a league entirely devoted to something new. You could make 32 new NFL teams and really get creative about who does what and what personalities you want to see in this new league. And I'm really excited to go over with you kind of the nuances of this new league that I hope we can get attached to. So we're going to take a look here at the map, and now you can see, at least on the map, the layout of these teams and kind of where they are geographically. We're going to go through conference by conference, and our conferences here in the ZFL have new names. We have the Novice Football Conference and the Amateur Football Conference, just so we can keep the NFC and AFC monikers for immersion's sake. And my hope is that as this channel grows, as maybe the series grows, we can gravitate towards some of these guys on this playthrough. So without further ado, we're going to take a look here at the NFC teams for this year, and what I'm gonna do is up here on the screen you're gonna see the logos, the team names, and the archetype. Yes, you could make a team archetype based on what strength, what personality you wanted your team to look like. And I'm very excited to reveal this with you, just because you're gonna draw to and gravitate towards these players, and as this evolves over time. And let's take a look here at the NFC West. Some of you are really going to gravitate towards, just because we are going to be playing in the NFC West. You're going to see here there are multiple teams that have real life locations in today's NFL, but also there are a few places that might support some different fan bases moving forward. As you know, we're Seattle football first here on this channel, so we are going to be the Seattle Vipers, and we are going to be a balanced team, a team that doesn't really have an identity quite yet, but we can make that into whatever we want. And we're going to have some stiff competition here in this division with the Honolulu Islanders, which is a smash mouth team, a team that really prioritizes running the football and making sure that they're a tough team. We're going to bring back the Seattle-Portland rivalry that we used to see in the NBA, and we're going to incorporate it here in the ZFL with the Seattle Vipers taking on the Portland Snowhogs, a strong defensive team. Their weakness, of course, is offense, but their defense is going to keep them in every single game we have to play against them. And then lastly, we see the Los Angeles Heat, one of a few teams located in the state of California. Taking a look here at one particular player that I think could be a difference maker in the NFC West is, well, our quarterback, number 14, Stephen Arnold. Here he is. And yes, you see that right. He is 0 years pro in this league. Because when you make a new team in Madden 12, you are, well, bound to the fact that everybody that's on your team is brand new, which I think is awesome. We don't get to have this anymore in Madden, this level of customization. There's going to be teams that have all of these new players, all these new personalities that are going to be electric for those franchises. And I think Stephen Arnold can be a difference maker for us. As you can see here, here's his contract info that the game gave us. But this Clemson quarterback is one that we need to keep an eye on. As you can see here, another cool thing about Madden is we don't really know the potential or the overall ratings of these guys just yet because we haven't played them out on the football field. So the game's going to project Stephen Arnold at a 91 overall, but we won't know his true overall rating until we play him a lot in the preseason. Taking a look at our second team, our second division here in this new ZFL, we're going to take a look at the NFC South, where we're going to see multiple teams that I feel could make some big noise, in particularly as the playoff rolls along in this year. One of many teams located in the great state of Texas will be the Austin Kings. Austin gets a football franchise, and they're going to feature a air-it-out offense that can cause some havoc for some defensive minded teams, even the best of them, like Portland, where they put a lot of priorities on the defensive front. Well, Austin's going to try to challenge them deep with an electric passing game and efficient wide receivers. The Atlanta Flight will take their first voyage together here in the ZFL, and as Atlanta gains yet another sports franchise, it'll be interesting to see how this balanced club makes their debut in this league and forges their identity. Will they be an offensive-minded team? Will they be a team that prioritizes defense and special teams instead, or are they going to be just a good team all the way around with nothing flashy? These are the options that I'm excited to see the game kind of manage and play out together. I'm a Seattle Supersonic fan, but I do know that the city of Oklahoma the state of Oklahoma prides themselves on their football, so I found it only appropriate to give Oklahoma City a team here in the NFC South. However, their archetype, as you can see here, is a cupcake team, and that was a little bit of revenge by myself towards this franchise that I think took away my favorite basketball team in the Sonics. But it's going to be really interesting to see how these cupcake teams, and there will be 2 cupcake teams per conference, I think. Let me take a look here real quick. Yes, there's going to be 2 cupcake teams per conference. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to put themselves in a position for a good draft if you are a cupcake franchise. We're going to go back to Oklahoma here in just a second, but Dallas, of course, needs a football team. So we have the Dallas Outlaws, also a balanced franchise in the great state of Texas. It would be very interesting to see how this franchise can forge an identity, maybe of winning, especially come playoff time here in the ZFL. Taking a look up here on the screen, we're going to see Connor Richer of the Oklahoma City Warhawks, and he is about the only bright spot on this team. You're going to see the uniforms for these featured players. They're home uniforms, and as you can see here is Connor Richer, quarterback of Montana Valley State. I don't know that one, but excuse me for my ignorance here. But we have Connor Richer. I think he's going to be a difference maker for this team. As you can see, he's oblivious to pressure, but he is conservative. He's going to be a guy that's going to manage the game as best as he can with a very subpar team around him. Not a lot of bright spots on the Warhawks, but if you want to gravitate towards one particular guy, Connor Richer is perhaps your man. Taking a look here at the NFC North, we are going to be seeing teams that in real life have franchises regain some franchise momentum here in the ZFL, but we're also going to see some teams that make their debut in perhaps a division that maybe we didn't expect football franchises to find themselves. First things first, we're going to take a look at the Minnesota Hail. This is another smash mouth team. When I think of Minnesota Viking football, especially in the era of 2012, 2013, you still had Adrian Peterson, and they were a smash mouth football team. They wanted to make sure that their running game was felt, and I thought it was only appropriate to feature the Minnesota Hail this way. You're going to see a team in Grand Rapids sport a franchise, and this is the Grand Rapids Spartans, a team that I feel it has the possibility to forge a pretty unique identity. I think this might be a franchise that gets really aggressive, especially in free agency. You're going to see these guys really spend a lot of money. They have quite a bit of cap room, and I think that you're really going to bear witness to what football can be like in Grand Rapids. Chicago gets a football franchise because obviously Chicago is such a historic football town. They're going to have the Chicago Rhinos with a strong offensive front. This team's going to look to dominate on the offensive side and run away with as many football games as they possibly can with their scheme. And then lastly, a team that I think might be able to make some noise, located in Billings, Montana, is the Montana Bulls. You have this team that is good all the way around. That's pretty much it. And the interesting part about this particular franchise, I think, is going to be, especially in this particular Madden, free agent players actually have opinions about where they want to go, what's important to them in free agency, and I don't know too many players that want to go to Montana and play football, but it'll be interesting to see how they decide to grow. Will it be through free agency or will it be through the draft? Taking a look here at the Minnesota Hail, I think a star player on this particular team, even though they are a smash mouth archetype, you're going to see many multiple tight end sets on this team, and Jason Cignetti is going to be a player that I'm going to keep my eye on this year with the Minnesota Hail. Let's bring him up here. As this game loads, we're going to take a peek at Minnesota's home uniforms, and here we are with Jason. This team is heavily based on the run, but this rookie from Ohio State is really going to put his mark, I feel, on the game with some ratings here, ratings in agility and speed and acceleration that I think could be a big difference maker, especially in the red zone. So watch out for this player to get a lot of touchdowns here in the first season of the ZFL. And last, we're going to take a look here at the NFC East. And yes, look, you read that right. Pittsburgh is now getting a football team in the what we're going to call the NFC, because I feel that in today's NFL, you don't see this Pennsylvania rivalry that really does exist between Philadelphia fans and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. And this is a league that wants to prioritize rivalry, right? We got to see Seattle and Portland in the NFC. Now we're going to see here the Pittsburgh Philadelphia rivalry. But first things first, let's take a look at the Pittsburgh Hornets. They are a strong defensive team, a city that prides themselves on making sure that you're going to have a tough time scoring, especially when you find yourself in the Steel City. This is going to be a franchise that prioritizes turnovers and makes sure that all of those guys are just going to fly to the football. We're going to take a look at Pittsburgh in just one moment on a deeper level with our player feature here in just a moment. But you're going to see here the all Madden team that is featured in the NFC, in the New York Impact. There are two all Madden teams in this game that I think are going to be Super Bowl favorites every single year, and New York is definitely a team that is stacked from top to bottom. It always secures high level talent, and in this league we're going to see a team in the New York Impact that is not afraid to throw their weight around offensively and defensively week in and week out. The Philadelphia Venom is a balanced team looking to forge their identity while beating up on their rivals in Pittsburgh. Not a lot to say about this balanced franchise team, as they certainly have an uphill climb ahead of them with two stingy opponents in Pittsburgh and New York. Also, the Maine Luck is here, and I found it really appropriate to make this team a cupcake franchise just because they're going to need a lot of luck to win any football games in this division. It's going to be interesting to see if they can secure any high-end level talent. Not a lot of people want to go to Maine to play football, and it's going to reflect here on this roster. There's not a lot of talent here to be found, and yet Maine gets a football franchise, and it's going to be really interesting to see how teams in the how teams in the East, rather, are going to vie for position and take advantage of what will be probably two really easy conference games to take advantage of when they play this cupcake franchise. I told you we were going to take a look at Pittsburgh in a more meaningful way. As you can see here, Avius Harris is a defensive tackle here on Pittsburgh. We're going to take a closer look at this rookie because he is a difference maker, rated in the 90s, one of the few teams that isn't a all Madden team that have players in the 90s. As you can see, this team's gonna rock that black and gold that Pittsburgh is known for all of their sports teams. Was only appropriate to feature these colors on this team. Let's take a look at this guy's ratings, as he is going to just run havoc on these guys with an 85 pursuit as a defensive tackle. I think that's going to be really interesting to see how this tough-minded rookie is going to change the landscape of these offensive-minded teams, especially the New York Impact. Can he rally this defense enough to see Pittsburgh win in the NFC East? All right, backing out of this, we're going to see once again, here's a list of all the teams in the NFC featured here on the new ZFL. I'm so excited to take control of the Seattle franchise that's located here and just kind of explore different team stadiums with you and take a look at some of these awesome logo options that this Madden has that even today's Madden doesn't have. There's just so much creativity that can happen here. So I want to hear from you. What team in the NFC are you really excited to see? And what team maybe in the AFC are you holding out for maybe your city to get represented here in the ZFL? I am so pumped to take control of this and to supply some Madden content before the draft. We'll shift in our football content after the draft and talk Seahawk football together. But this is just something a little different that I wanted to do that I'm really looking forward to showcasing here on this channel. Let me know what you think. And that's it for today's NFC preview of the new ZFL.